Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in today. I've noticed there's been a bit of confusion around bridging RFOX over from the Ethereum Mainnet to the Binance Smart Chain. Today I wanted to show you an alternative approach on how we can go about picking up RFOX and VFOX directly from the exchange itself to begin farming, rather than having to worry about bridging from Ethereum over to Binance Smart Chain. So those that are brand new to cryptocurrencies or DeFi will hopefully get some value out of this video. I'll cover how to deposit your local currency onto Binance, trade that into a cryptocurrency that is compatible with the Binance Smart Chain, withdraw it to your wallets, set up the Binance Smart Chain, jump onto RFOX.Finance to swap it for RFOX and VFOX. And from there, we'll go and supply those pairs into the liquidity pool. Then we'll take the liquidity pool tokens and stake them into the farm. Then we're away. Let's get started then. Okay, so you can see here I've opened up on the markets page, but in order for us to deposit, you have two different options that you can take. So you can see that we can either just hit deposit AUD and it'll take us straight through to the deposit screen. But no matter where you are on Binance, you should be able to have access to the buy crypto drop-down box. And from there, we can select bank deposit. Okay, and then from here, you select whichever currency is your native currency. In my case, it's Australian dollars, and we happen to have Pay ID, which is a financial service that's available here. I'm not entirely sure if that is available in other jurisdictions, but it is a very effective way to get your fiat onto the platform. So we'll press continue. And we're going to enter in 100 here. So keep in mind that I believe after your first deposit, what you enter here doesn't matter. But this is a way for you to sort of verify who you are for your first deposit. And that might take up to 24 hours. So whatever you intend to deposit, you should probably enter it into here. But after that point, won't matter. So we're going to hit continue. And you can see that the details have popped up now. So what I can actually do is go into my mobile banking app on my phone. You can do this through a PC and go through a browser to open up your internet banking. So they're all banks are different, but they tend to follow a similar sort of structure. You should be able to set up a new payee. So in my case, what I've already done is that I would go ahead and add payee. I'd use the email address, put Binance Australia as the payee name, and then put $100 into send. So I've done that right now, and a few presses of a button on my phone, I've sent that $100 to Binance. So from here, what we're going to do is we'll actually go back to the fiat and spot wallet when it decides to load. Cool. So we're actually going to see that there's my native currency is just here. So I'm going to go across and hit trade. And that's got a drop box of different pairs that I can trade with. And I want to make it quite clear that in order to function or perform transactions rather on the Binance Smart Chain, you're going to need some BNB. BNB is spent on gas fees, and that basically pays miners to validate your transaction on the network. The same principle applies if you're doing that on Ethereum as well. The difference being that it was super expensive to do that with Ethereum. But for the sake of this demonstration, I want to show you guys how, as long as a cryptocurrency is basically what's called a BEP20, it's compatible with the Binance Smart Chain, that it doesn't really matter what you pick up. So we're going to grab Ethereum, which might seem counterintuitive, but I'll show you why I'm doing that. So we can see that the markets page is opened up here. Now, you can see also that the $100 that I deposited from my bank is sitting right there waiting to be used. So it's important to note first off that there are two different kinds of orders that we could use. So if you were, for example, convinced that this price was going to continue to go down, you could set a target wherever. So that's called a limit order. So you're leaving an open order. As soon as the price reaches that, it will execute. But also keep in mind that if the price doesn't stay down there for very long and decides to bounce back up, your order might not get fully filled. And that's kind of inconvenient because for our purposes, we need to go ahead and use the Ethereum on the Binance Smart Chain. So we're going to do what's called a market buy. What that does is that will take the nearest available orders off the sell book here. And you can see there's quite a bit of movement there, but I'm just going to go ahead and buy Ethereum at market buy. So that's executed instantly pretty much. And you can see the Ethereum is now there in my wallet. So we're going to return to the fiat and spot to deposit and withdraw. In our case, we will be withdrawing. Again, when it decides to load. So just to save a bit of time, I'm going to type in Ethereum and then we're going to hit withdraw. And that's taken us to the withdraw crypto page. So I'm using whitelist. Whitelist is just approved addresses and I've approved my address ahead of time. So yes, the network you have selected is BSC. Please ensure that the withdrawal address supports the Binance Smart Chain. You will lose your assets if the chosen platform does not support retrievals. I understand. So very important to note right now that there are different ways you can wrap your tokens before you send them so that they are compatible with a particular network. In our case, it's BEP20 because that's Binance Smart Chain, but you might have the option to send it to say BEP2, which is the Binance chain. Now that is different. That's not compatible with the Ethereum virtual machines. And so effectively, if you send it there, you might lose it. You could also send it as an ERC20, but then you would have to repeat the same problem that many are having in the community right now, and that is having to bridge that over to the Binance Smart Chain side of things. So we're going to go ahead and withdraw that. And yes, I confirm. And I continue. Now it's going to ask for two-factor authentication codes. So what you'll do is you'll get an email sent to your phone, which I'm just checking now to get the code. And I've received that. So that's the code from the email. And then you've got your Google Authenticator app, and these codes change, I believe, every minute or so. So there's the code for that one. So I'm going to submit that. Cool beans, complete it. So you can see there now it's awaiting approval. It'll go through a number of confirmations before that's actually sent. But because it's the Binance Smart Chain versus, let's say, Ethereum, until they get their scalability sorted out, it'll be a lot more quicker to withdraw to the Binance Smart Chain. So what we can do is, in the meantime, is we can go ahead and actually set up the Binance Smart Chain network to operate on our Metamasks. So to make it easier, a good place to go is to expand the view. So you hit those three little buttons, expand view, and then that opens up your wallet here. So you can see I've already got some BNB in there. I'm using the wrong account. Okay, so what we want to do now is we want to change the settings. So we've hit the colorful icon in the corner. It's produced a drop box. We're going to hit settings. We're going to go to networks. And you can see I've already got it set up here, the Binance Smart Chain that is. But if you hit add network, it'll give you blank fields. So from there, you can effectively just go to docs.RFOX.Finance. There's a bunch of different walkthroughs and information to help you guys out. But what we need right now are these details. So we can effectively just copy and paste them in there. And you need your chain ID. So if you have problems with, say, OX38, you can go ahead and put 56 in and see if that works for you. And these ones are optional. But basically, as soon as you've put these details in, you will then hit save. So as soon as you hit save, that will actually give you access to the Binance Smart Chain. So it's that simple to set it up. So once you've done that, you are now tapping into the Binance Smart Chain through the Ethereum virtual machine. You may have noticed you've got the same public address as your Ethereum and as your Binance Smart Chain. So really cool way to think about it is think about it like we're running Windows or we're running Android or Mac, like all of us are now when we're watching this, and then we're going to go ahead and do this ourselves. It's basically like the Ethereum virtual machine is basically like a Windows, but it operates on a global scale. Every blockchain is like an app within that global computer. So effectively, if your public address can be shared with the same set of private keys, which is really cool. So we're going to click off this now, and you can see that the Ethereum's actually arrived there. So I've got 0.019 Ethereum. So we can now actually push ahead and go to RFOX.Finance. And we're there now. We're going to just go to the home page. So you can see I put in a little bit before as a test, but we're going to go to trade, because I want to show you that as long as the cryptocurrency you are trading is a BEP20 compatible, or rather even just taps into the Ethereum virtual machine, you can go ahead and trade that for RFOX if you want, and it will route through different liquidity pools, which I can show you just a little bit more on that in just a moment. So we're only going to use, 0.009646. So if you can see down here, even the route. So the Ethereum's basically being used to purchase USDT, and that will then go and purchase BNB. And because we have a BNB VFOX pool, that BNB will then be used to purchase VFOX. So we're going to go and hit confirm swap. So this is a good little learning curve as well. So many of you guys have been struggling to get transactions through lately, and that's because the congestion on the network has sort of gone up exponentially. It's quite amazing, but it's still significantly more affordable than Ethereum. If you're trying to do the same things there, it'd probably cost you a minimum $20 for one transaction. And this will probably, you'd be pushing it to pay $1 just to get a standard transaction through. So I'm going to go to the GUI, because that's the units of cryptocurrency, in our case BNB, that I'm willing to spend to push this transaction through. So I'm going to increase that to 10 just to make sure we get it through, no drama. So confirm that. So that's been submitted. In the meantime, I can go ahead and set up RFOX. We can see that's been, or you may not be able to see that, but that has been confirmed. So I'm going to just use the remainder of that Ethereum now on RFOX. So we're going to confirm swap for that. That's odd. And then it plays ball. So not sure what that was, folks. But be mindful that DeFi is full of risks, okay? So, when we're doing this, we are effectively consenting to those risks. It's no one's fault, whether it's even Binance Smart Chain. Actually, if anything, it's probably be more something to do with activities on the actual blockchain itself. But we are assuming the risk, and we need to be aware of that. So we're going to confirm that. And it's going to go through quite quickly, I would say, because we have spent more way. In the meantime, I'm going to head over, and so you can see I just hit liquidity, this liquidity on the top there, add liquidity. So that's gone through. So now I can go and select the pairs that I want to provide liquidity for. So they must be provided in pairs. The same as if you're trading on the centralized exchange. If you want to buy something, you need to give something else in exchange for that. I mean, and that tends to be how it operates. So you max out whichever one you can fill. So in our case, I have more VFOX than RFOX, so I'm going to max out RFOX. I'm going to hit supply, and you can see that I'm going to be provided with 39 RFOX VFOX pool tokens. So I'll push forward and I'll supply that. And again, because we don't want to play silly buggers, we're just going to increase the gas price so that that goes through without as many complications. So that's going to think about it and do its thing. I will linger for a moment because what I want to show you is this. So you can see now your LP tokens in your wallet. You've got 39.94, 165.72, and 9.74105. So I'm not going to actually withdraw it, but I will really quickly, just because this has also been another point of confusion for some people. So if you go back, you'll see no liquidity found, which, as you know, that's rubbish. You just saw me provide liquidity. Nonetheless, it really is as simple as just looking it up here. VFOX, boom, pool found pretty much straight away. So at varying points when you're staking, you need to be mindful of impermanent loss. And that's for the reason I sort of described, because you're swapping one thing for another, but both those things vary in value. And the idea is, as you would have noticed as well when we added liquidity, is that it's pegged at a 50-50 ratio. A 1-to-1 ratio rather, because the market value has to match the other side of the pairing. So you can withdraw at various points if you're curious. It wouldn't hurt just to sort of be aware of what these figures are, even just to jot it down. So then over time you can come back and you can look at that and go, okay, cool. Like, am I experiencing impermanent loss? If so, what did I put in and what is it now? So what we're going to do, because now we're across that, is basically, I can just briefly show you that it's as simple as, once you've found it on the import page, that it'll appear here, and you hit that little drop down box and you can remove it. It's that simple, and it'll take you through a transaction and you'll receive the 165 RFOX and the 9.7 VFOX. So now we're going to go to the farms because this is what really we're all here for. So you can see I've already got some here. So this is yet another little fun fact for you guys. What will happen here is that if I go ahead and add the liquidity pool tokens, it's going to actually go ahead and harvest that 0.07 VFOX that's been accrued since I'd put it in maybe about an hour ago or so. So I'm going to do that. And you can see the balances here of the LP tokens. I'm going to max that out. I'm going to confirm. I'm going to increase the gas price just a little bit. Actually, not that much, because I don't really want to pay that much in BNB. And I'm confident it will go through nonetheless. So now we're just waiting for that to do its thing. So that's done. So you've seen that I just harvested that. And soon as we start, there we go. Now we must have many decimals of VFOX that's already started to accumulate. And it's just a matter of hitting harvest, which I'm not going to do that. But one thing I do want to touch on, actually, just before I let you guys go, thank you so much for watching, by the way, is there's a really unique feature on the RFOX.Finance protocol, which is really cool, and for RFOX holders is quite bullish. So every time we hit harvest, the initial liquidity provided by Red Fox Labs, RFOX VFOX, they went ahead and staked that in the farm themselves. So every time we hit harvest, we're actually harvesting that initial liquidity too. What happens there, which is the cool part, which I haven't come across before, is that VFOX then gets swapped back into the liquidity pool. It removes that that market value amount of RFOX from the pool, and then that gets sent to an address that's publicly visible. We can all see it. I'll put it into the description below for you guys. And then every week, they're going to go ahead and do a burn party, and you know, and it's cool. They're having a bit of fun with it, you know, like they're taking people's guesses, and they're giving away cogs for people that make the closest guess to how much RFOX is going to be burnt in a week. So yeah, really cool, guys. As you can see, it's really quite simple and straightforward to wrap your head around. And there's just a wealth of opportunities in DeFi. And I'm keeping a very close eye on RFOX.Finance. There's many reasons for that. I mean, if we go back to the homepage, we can see the TVL is 51 million, which is nothing to snub your nose up at. That's pretty good. It's only their first week, and I believe it's gone up about 30 million or so since its inception, which is really cool. The team are public facing. We know the team, so no rug pulls, right? So the biggest problem with these kinds of protocols is that it's people that are totally anonymous doing it, and it's effectively a full-on what you'd call like a degen play, right? Like, so it's a total cash grab. You're getting in early, and then you with lots of capital, and then you just dump it on the market, and then you're exiting, and then basically people are just left with bags of useless tokens. So when because the team are known, because they've already got a track record of delivering on the various ventures they've got going on. I'm not going to continue to shill. You guys are welcome to look that up. I know the community are all too aware and are very chuffed on it. But yeah, thank you guys so much for your time today. And I really do hope that you managed to get some value out of this video. Awesome. Cheers.